Thank you, Presiding Officer. Women's human rights are being abused in Scotland due to the treatment of biological males as females. A report was published this week by Women's Rights Network with spine-chilling figures of rapes and sexual assaults in Scottish hospitals. And it's not just our hospitals. Women are being placed in harm's way, both physically and psychologically, in Scottish prisons, rape crisis centres, toilets and changing rooms. In the week of International Women's Day, if the First Minister is not alarmed by this, shame on him. And if the First Minister wants to do something about it to accelerate action, which is the theme of International Women's Day, will he meet with myself and other cross-party MSPs as a matter of urgency? How can any progress on women's equality be made without this? Thank you.
Thank you, First Minister.
Presiding Officer, I'm absolutely committed, and anyone that's listened to anything I've said from during my tenure as First Minister, I am absolutely committed to protecting and asserting the safety of women and girls in our society. And I'm exercising leadership, as I have done from the moment I became First Minister, to challenge what is the underpinning issue that affects the safety of women and girls in society, and that is the behaviour of men. And I will be unapologetic in setting out that point of view from my position as a male First Minister, exercising leadership to make sure that men face up to their responsibilities to ensure that women can live safely in our society. Women and girls can live safely in our society today.
Katie Clark.
It has recently been reported that almost 10% of the 2,000 women who have died at the hands of men in the UK over the last 15 years have been killed by their own sons. What more does the First Minister believe the Scottish Government can do to raise awareness of this risk and improve support for women?
First Minister.
I think Katie Clark puts an incredibly serious point to me, and it comes back to the answer I've just given, that there is a responsibility on all of society to try to help men, boys and men, to improve their conduct and their actions, because that will be the route to addressing the fundamental issue that Katie Clark puts to me, that will result in the protection of mothers and women who face danger. So she has my absolute assurance, and I am very happy to work across the political spectrum to do all that we can to culturally improve the attitudes and approaches of men and boys in our society, because I believe it to be fundamental to addressing the serious issue that she puts to me.
Ash Regan.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Despite the First Minister's warm words during the answer to this question, I feel he is woefully out of touch on the situation of women's rights across Scotland. Therefore, it is utterly impossible to accelerate action towards gender equality when women's human rights are under attack. The Scottish Government must now apologise for their role in this and break from these state-sanctioned abuses. Will the First Minister make a clear commitment today to upholding the internationally protected human rights of women and girls in Scotland?
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, I will not accept the charge, and I reject it entirely, of state-sanctioned abuses. I will not accept that charge in any way, shape or form from Ash Regan. I've put on the record my absolute commitment to the protection of women and girls in our society. That underpins the policy agenda of my government, and it will underpin my conduct as First Minister.